Alright, howdy folks, welcome back. I'll just X out of this and close up this other one. So, Istanbul, Turkey got slammed on November 11th with a gnarly storm there. And this weather chaos is, hitting different parts of the world. Every day it's some other new part of the world. So, it's interesting watching all this unfold. And we'll get to the weather report here a little later tonight. First, let's come on over here to the seed site. Let me just back up a little bit and show you that we have no data for the 13th going into the 14th, all right? So even stereo A's out. So I got this other instrument open over here. Just make an adjustment now that we got it up on the camera here. And there's not much really that happened today on the 13th, so I just kind of wanted to show you that. Let's back it up here. So here we are at the tail end of the 12th. Here's this, if we can get this to, okay, here we are, the opening frame of the 13th here. And as we go through this, there's really not much on the 13th except for right at the end here, going into the 14th. You can see that this area is brightening up and getting wider and wider and bigger and bigger. And then towards the end here, we have a little CME coming off over on the side here. And this is the early hours of the 14th right there. All right, so not much to see, but I had to pull it up anyway. So here's Stereo A's view really quick. All right, so here's the, this is what I wanted to show you here. These are the closing frames right here of the 13th, of the 12th, I'm sorry, going into the 13th, and you can see the tail end of our event here. So watch the tail end of the event move out of screen. That's the event that happened on the 12th that we talked about last night. All right, and then pretty quiet for the 13th. See this little shadow? Whoops, maybe not. Let's brighten this up for you guys. Maybe even zoom in a tad bit. It's not much. I shouldn't even bother. There's just a little ghost moving through there. Tad bit of shadow, but then you see this spot and this spot crackling and coming to life here, and then at the very tail end is this CME coming out right here in this zone, and it's currently underway. So that's as far as the data would allow us to see. So let me get out of this one and move on over here to this. Fix my screen there a little better. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing okay, hanging in there. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the warm welcomes. I saw you guys in the chat there saying hi at the very beginning, and I used the same microphone that I talked into to do the music for the opening. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate your time. And let's just get into this very quick here. Oh, I need to zoom in a little more. All right, so here we are. Goes X-ray flux for right now. Just pretty quiet today. You can see we're below the seafloor for a little bit. Few snap, crackle, and pop. And then here's this little event going into the 14th. Not much, okay? So pretty quiet today on the sun, thankfully. We've had quite a run there of activity, just a barrage day in, day out of activity on the sun with inbound energy just over and over and over again. So it's good to see a little break in the pattern there. Another thing I want to point out, we were talking about last night at the very, this event had just happened during our stream or whatever, and this kind of concerns me, this dip down here. Obviously it's not the eclipsing of the satellite or whatever. So this little power down right here of the sun. This little dip is what I'm more concerned about these than I am some of the flares that come off, right? Because it came down almost to this A line right here. And like I was describing last night, this color coordinated over here, instead of gray, this B should be yellow for cautionary, and the A should be red because if the sun's getting down into the A range, it's getting weak and dying. And this sudden plunge, this boo, whoop, this little brownout of power right here in the X-ray flux, it's kind of concerning. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that and see what's going on here. I have to look deeper into it. I'm so busy, I don't have a lot of time to do that. So I have to pray and get my answers that way. Alrighty. KP index, we didn't take such a big hit. That's good. I was expecting another here, let me just open it up. I was expecting this double spike right here to be a lot more intense because we had a secondary wave of energy come in, but it wasn't as bad. So boom, boom, not too bad. And it really kind of reflects our Schumann. Let's just open up the Schumann real quick. And you can see the main screeching event, a little break, some more screeching, then a little bit hard here, a break, and then a little more screeching at the tail end. The symmetry of that looks a lot like the symmetry of this. Here's the big blast. Here's the secondary smaller one. Look, with a third that's even smaller. The symmetry is identical. Okay. That, and starting from this yellow blast, if we block out everything from this over, you'll see that there's our big event. Boom, our main blast. This, even the secondary on this first hit right here is harder than this double event. So secondary event is even harder than the double event. And we'll get a little closer here. We'll zoom in harder on this here in a little bit when we get to this report. But do you guys see what I'm talking about? The similarities of it, how they coincide. Okay, so let's back out of the KP. Our auroras never took too big of a hit, so that was the secondary hit wasn't as big as I expected. Thankfully, I think a lot of your prayers had something to do with that. But let's get back to this. It's very faint right now. We're not taking on a lot of energy right now, which is a good thing. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the tracker real quick. I want to show you something on this tonight. Come on, computer. Do you guys have problems with your Lenovo computers or laptops? I had a different brand before and it worked fine, and this one just likes to hiccup a lot. At least it's not frozen up like my other one. Alright, as you can see, we have a CME that came off the side and is going away from us. Alright, so a good indication that we don't have another blast coming right at us. Unfortunately, I can't really get a good eyeball on what direction said event or said object causing this event is going. So probably coming our way. We'll see. I don't know what to expect on this one, if we're going to have a lot of energy inbound or not, because it doesn't have the CME coming our way. So that's some good news to report. Let's look at it that way. It's all your perspective. It's really, really about perspective. If you look at things in a certain way, you're going to be stuck in that way. If you have an open mind and know how to learn, you won't be stuck. All right, let's get on over here to the Schumann now here, because We're going to pull this and scoot and pull and scoot and do whatever I got to do to get this in there for you. Oh, something else I want to try. Can I pull this all the way over? Whoa, 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 whoa. Where's that bar? Oh, there is no bar. Alright, well, I was going to try to put both of them in the same frame. But we already talked about the correlation between the KP index and the same on this screeching event. You can see here we had this really weak field. We took on a hit, boom, it caused our screeching event. A few hours later, bam, it relieved for a minute, got another stab at the brakes, relieve a little bit, and then another medium-sized pulse. This is the secondary wave. Once it absorbed, then it causes its effects, then it takes another break, and then we had a smaller little pulse come in after that. So this matches up with the KP. Let me just pull back a little bit so we can do this one more time with this KP index here. Alright. And I'm talking about from this, like I said, this yellow line all the way over to the right. These two, this yellow and this one, are pretty good bursts right there. Alright. This secondary burst is still almost a KP4. Okay. This double event was a KP3. So here's our bigger event, followed by a medium event, and then a small event. Just like big event, double, medium, small. Oh, something else. Watch this. You see this spike that's out front right here too? Starting to see the correlation here? Alright. Enough of that. Let's, right now, I'm a little concerned. This is looking pretty weak coming out of this event right here. After this third blast, there is a green line or whatever, but from my view right here, I can't really give it to you the best, but it's there. It just looks weak. And I expect to see a shadow event kind of like this, a weakening here, probably pretty soon. Unless we have another inbound wave that hits us and, causes this core screeching event, okay? Whew. So let's move on. Pretty cool how that correlated with the KP index like that. So let's move on over to our earthquake report, shall we? Now, hopefully some of you got to see Dutch Sense tonight. He was on earlier, and I was lucky enough to stop the battle and watch a little of his report. And if you haven't seen it, go over there, check out Dutch. He did a good report. I learned a lot from him. We have different styles, but we do agree on a lot of things. So let's just start off where we usually do tonight in our report, and we'll just fill in with the details as we go. Okay. Deep earthquakes for today. 4.3 at a depth of 334. That's not a deep quake. That's 334. This one right here, though, is a 4.6 at a depth of 521. There's your deep quake right there at 1042 UTC. Down here is another deep quake. Now, this is usually where we have shallower quakes, but it's still down at a depth of 421. So this is a 5.7 at a depth of 421. That kind of, is like 6 at the surface there, okay? So some of that 6 energy, remember I was talking about it bumping up to 6 with this new wave coming in, with this next one, and then possibly even going into the 7 range, all right? So here's your 5.7, that's pretty good, almost a 6 there, at a depth of 421. So this is a deeper quake here. Then right next to it, we have this 5.4 at a depth of 77. All right, so we've got some mid-range 5, pretty strong 5 energy right there. Coming up into the system here, a 5.4. Remember, we were talking how this stuff was getting from 4.5 to 5.5. So there's your 5.5. Reaching up to 6 range. Right here is a 5.2 at a depth of 10. Then coming over here, we were talking about how open and naked this area was. I was looking for a quake off of Sumatra. If you watched Dutch's report tonight, he said the exact same thing. He was expecting a quake in this naked area off of Sumatra, and he even predicted upwards of a 7 possible. Okay, because we had a 7 earlier this week over here. And I thought the same thing too, because last night I was saying we have this 6 energy with this new wave coming in. It could boost it up to magnitude 7. Well, lo and behold, both of us were pretty right. Both Dutch and I got this here. This is a 6.1 at a depth of 10. And like last night when I was talking about it, an hour later it happened. This happened about an hour later after Dutch's show. So he got one, and then I got one, and then he got one. He predicted a 7, but this is what we're looking for. This is that energy right here. It's a 6.1, and look out, there's still more. This area is not filled in yet. Okay, this is out here on this ridge. There is still nothing on this boundary line. Okay. So don't let this fool you as maybe being our energy released. That could be a precursor to a bigger quake. I'm still on board with Dutch and this 6 energy possibly getting boosted higher. This secondary event right here wasn't as powerful. This is, if it was up here, I would expect this magnitude to jump up to 7. But since it's not as powerful, I'm thinking maybe that's why we're not seeing the 7. We're seeing the 6.1. Okay. Blast wasn't as intense, and it cut down what was possibly a very strong potential for a 7. And I still agree with him. But it looks like it's been cut down to 6 energy. Let's just kind of be as blunt about this as we can, or straightforward at least. All right, so there it is, though. And we both kind of were calling the spot. So here's our energy, moved on in, mid-range 5, came out here, cranked off a 6, skipped over this zone. This little fulcrum point here, when something does release here, it's probably going to let off a pretty healthy quake there by China. Anyways, it keeps skipping over and dumping off like 2 quakes here. Well, we have a 5.3 depth of 49, so there's one of your quakes right there, and it 5.3, yeah, that was probably all the energy right there. Comes over, hits up Saudi Arabia, or I almost say Turkey here, but this is Azerbaijan. 4.6 right there. Kind of tapered off, the energy kind of tapered off a little bit. You see how naked Europe is still. Italy has the super volcano brewing under there. Don't be surprised you see earthquakes going off in Italy. Also Greece. Don't let me forget to talk about Greece tonight on the other instrument. We got some hotspot issues going on in this area. So pulling back a little bit. Please, Lord, thank you. This region can fill in with this mid-range 4 at least, because we got a mid-range 4 right there. So mid-range 4 to 6 potential to come into this area. Anything that's been locked up for a while and some 6 energy pushes in here and snaps it. You might even see a big one around Turkey here. Remember we had that big one there that devastated a bunch of people? So watch out here Watch out, all these open areas that haven't been filled in yet. We have one of these odd quakes again, diverse quake again here in Uganda, 4.9 at a depth of 8.4. I want to see what topographically is going on here. Bear with me for a second, folks. You can ride along as we just peek in here. Oh boy, there's nothing. All right, this continent is cracking in half from underneath. You'll see. We'll get into that stuff later. Right now we don't have to go all that depth into it. This little guy is a 4.9 down here on the ridge, or down here on this little fault line, plate boundary. That's your 5 energy coming down there. Really concerned about Iceland. Did we have anything today? Nothing too. Let's just change this real quick to 1 day all magnitudes, because this only, not showing any activity for Iceland. So, kind of suspicious. Maybe it died down all of a sudden. We had a relief of pressure underneath that caused all that swelling underneath to relieve and shrink back down. We'll see. But that's today, all magnitudes, and it doesn't show anything. So, looks like a quiet day there on Iceland for good news there. All right, let's back out of this. Come over here to the west coast here. Some in the Sierras, not too big. That's a 3.2 and a 2.9 and nothing. 2.7. And then, was there anything up in the Juan Fuca? I thought I saw something earlier up here today. I think there was a smaller one up here earlier today, but it's already off the map. The rest is not really worthy of going over. Oh, what I want to talk about also here. No. Let's come in here. This region here that had our 6-point quake right here also has still got little activity going on here. This is a 4.9, a 4.9, and a 5.4 there today. I want to go, oh no, that'll only tell me 7 days. I wish I could go back just 2 days, but we can't. So there's your earthquake report. Let's this real quick here. A 4.6, that mid-range 4 energy traveling along this plate boundary line right here. So it was good to see Dutch back. He had a decent report. This right here is 5.2 in the band of C. So got mid-range 5 energy out there. Potential of 6. Potential is, well, I think that's 7 potential. I'm going to have to pull back on that now because of this KP index, the secondary blast not being as intense. This not being as intense. So it looks like that energy tapered off. This 6.1 might be the biggest quake we see out of this. We might see some more 6. There might be another one. Especially going up this part of the system. You can see how bare and naked it is, right? I keep zooming in and out. Sorry. You can see how open this area is. Both sides here. Both of these sides right here. Going all the way up, especially the fulcrum points. I wanted to say off of Honshu, Japan right here. Dutch also thinks off of Honshu, Japan as well. So that place on alert for inbound 6 energy. And if there's anything that's pent up along in here that hasn't released, and this thing, 6 energy comes through here and loosens something up even more, we could see that 7 energy. All right. I think it's just going to remain 6 though, but look for it to still continue on through the system here. All right, this naked area, when it jumps over the kink in the garden hose here, it loses energy. So that 6 energy jumps over here to a 5 maybe, come down into California, 5 at the Juan de Fuca, 5 in California, magnitude 5 possibly. And funny thing is, Dutch agrees on that too. So y'all just kind of watch, be careful, keep an eye on this. This isn't an exact science, but it does seem to be panning out certain ways. Okay, so we're alert for this area, alert up in there too. It takes a little longer for it to come over and reach around. Also, this area too, the Cocos Plate is kind of barren, nothing there, and that's a dangerous spot. So pray that nothing too big hits there. Some of this energy, this isn't it. 4.3, depth of 33. Nah, I don't think this is any of this energy pushed across yet, because it would usually drop off like 2 to 3 quakes here at the fulcrum point, some couple of 100-kilometer deep quakes, 100 to 200-kilometer deep quakes right at that fulcrum point. And this doesn't seem to be enough for that yet. So possibly your mid-range 4 and 5 in this area. If this energy radiates out in a circle in all directions, has pushed over to here and set off a 6.1, it could set off a 6 to 6.12 in this area as well. Okay, unless it hits this one, which it seems to be skipping a lot lately. So the potential is there for all of this area right here too. I think that's it on the quakes. Do you guys see anything else or have any questions? This little guy down here. Yeah, we already did that one. All right, yep, that's the quakes for tonight. Now, I'm going to come on over here to this SO2. Now, the pressure from underneath when, CMEs get absorbed, the core gets heated, it swells, the core and shell grind. That creates friction and heating that heats the magma. The magma is molten metal. It expands when heated as well. So any kind of energy from the sun, heat taken in, directed to the poles, to the core, causes this upwelling and swelling of pressure, shoving out the SO2. We got it set up on SO2 right now. And let's just take a peek at America really quick here. All right, the East Coast, we still have quite a lot of this gas bleeding out. All right, you can see all the weaknesses, perforations, and all these little individuals, not hot spots, but leaking areas. These are warm or hotter too. This gas coming out, superheated, sometimes sets off fires, and some of these fires are started from underground because of this effect. Okay, still kind of drawn down the middle. Boom, country divided, bleeding out on one side and scattered buckshot over here. Something I wanted to point out that I was looking at a little bit earlier today. We used to come over here to the Bay Area and report on this one, just because there's a lot of people in this area. It's not because I'm favorites to the place or anything like that, but it is a very populated area with this SO2. That's pressure underneath San Francisco coming out in the form of SO2. All right. Now we have a new spot up here. This is off the coast of Oregon, California, right up here. All right. And that's a pretty intense spot. So watch out in this area for a possible earthquake. All right. Or any of the volcanoes around here. See, some of these are seeping out SO2. Some of these inland volcanoes. There's Rainier, okay, spewing out SO2. Then we used to come over here to Hawaii and report on this, and it was always just, let me tilt this down, just kind of blinding the camera there a little bit, I think. Anyways, hopefully you can see this is the little island of Oahu here. There we go. And it's been spewing SO2 for quite a while. But now this island, this is Maui, has a little bit coming out of it, and so does the main island of Hawaii. So if you back out, you see all three of them have their own individual uh, sulfur dioxide plumes. Okay, not just Oahu anymore. All three, or three out of the five islands there, have them. Coming over to China, this was a mess earlier today. You can tell the pressure's relieved because this was almost black. You see how when we zoom in, this dark purple almost gets black, right? So this dark purple, there's a few spots left, but a lot of this area was really dark earlier today. So they have a SO2 underground SO2 emission problem as well, and you can see that's eased up from what it looked like earlier. So they're in hot water as well. Oh, something else I wanted to point out. Here is the island of Japan. Okay, hopefully, let's just try this a tad bit better. Hopefully you can see the white outline there. The mountain range that runs down Japan is seeping SO2 from all these volcanoes all along the ridges of Japan. Okay, so watch out, you guys in Japan. Okay, can you see what I'm saying now? So Japan seeping, even the lower island over here, this island right here. Let's see if we can pull it a little tighter so you guys can see. There we go. This corner of this island, that one's seeping SO2 as well. So watch out, Japan. You guys have SO2 emission problems as well. Up here in just inland of the Kamchatka Peninsula here, look at this scattering. It looks like a shotgun blast. All right. Each individual site has its own little plume that's blowing away from it. All right. So these are all perforations in the crust, weak spots where this gas from underneath, every time we get hit with the CME and we have pressure underneath welling up to the underside of the crust, it pushes all this stuff out like a fart. Earth's got a bad case of gas. Smells like rotten eggs. There's an intense spot right there. That's a pretty dark emission spot right there. That's up in the tundra of Russia. Here's Europe. Okay, so it's not as dark and intense as it was earlier today, thankfully, but there's this strip down the coast of South America. So no continent is really Africa mostly, but it has this problem down here at the tip as well. So no continent's really free of this. All right. Even Australia has their weaknesses and their little spots too. All right. While we're down here, we got to come over to the island of Java here. And let's get this pulled in nice and good for you guys here. All right. This is the channel between Sumatra and Java right here. Krakatau's right here. We got our big old emission spot. We got Merapi and Semeru here on this island erupting right now. All right. And look at the island of Java. It used to be all purple. It kind of faded down at this end, but it's still got some. It's not as dark, but this whole island is still kind of purple. So watch out in this region because, let me back out just a tad bit. You can see Sumatra right here and the island of Java right here. This is where our 6.1 went off, right out here. Okay, so there's pressure in the area. We had a 6.1. We have this gas releasing. So it is relieving pressure. That's good news. It's relieving some pressure, all right? But just beware in that area. Watch out, okay? I don't know if it's over yet. I think that was it. Oh, here. Let's really quick just take a peek at the polar vortex. I haven't looked at it today. Getting pretty established. Oh, excuse me. We still got an inflow feed coming off over here. Looks like a big 6, doesn't it? Wow. All right, so it's inflow coming off over here, wrapping on in there. We're getting a pretty good, a pretty organized northern polar vortex. And if you can see, here's India. You can see the Mediterranean. So you can see where it's dropping down into, all right? Just a quickie. Let's go take a peek here at our upper jet. Okay. Not so much for Europe, but let's see what it's doing to America here. Okay, you see this cold air coming all the way down, twisting, and then looping down into the warm air, and then coming back up. So it's not going to be such a cold storm. Some of it's branching off and going up into Canada, but it seems to have this new little this ridge that is built here and is diverting everything down below it now. All right, so that might be a little more moist than cold. And this this cocktail, what I call this cocktail of moisture and flow, is going right into the Northern California area. All right. So then we also have this stream down here coming up, going into Mexico, and then dropping down right below Texas, leaving this area of the country kind of clear. All right. It goes up into Canada a little bit and then drops back down over the Great Lakes. These two jets come together and make another hot cocktail, another, volatile cocktail right off the coast here. So thankfully, that's blending together offshore. As it comes over here, it has this little weird bubble, but it gets together here and just comes right at France, Europe, Great Britain, just kind of south of Ireland. Here is the intense part. If you look a little at the bigger picture, it's this whole flow, all right, from the bottom of Spain here all the way up to the top of, the top of Ireland, all right. So that whole region is just, storms are going to be coming in through. It's like an open storm door, okay. Then see what's happening to China. Uh-oh. You see this cold air coming down out of Siberia, mixing with this warm air coming up here, making a nice cocktail and slamming China. All right, so they're going to be in some weather woes again. Okay. All right, let's take a peek at the. Oh no, we don't want. I want to see the polar vortex. Yeah, it's getting pretty small and weak now. It's still organized, but it's smaller. It's weaker than it was a while back. So that's about it for this instrument. Let's get on over to the forecast, bang this sucker out, and get to the spiritual forecast. All right? That's probably what you guys are waiting for anyway. All right, now some of you are. All right, let me take a sip here. Get this loop started. Not much has really changed on this, okay? It's pretty clear for our country. We still have this cold front moving in, but excuse me there. We watch that as it comes through, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as it was just the other day. So, plus this inbound energy that we got wasn't as intense, so that kind of helped reduce the productivity of these storms. So here's current conditions, nighttime of the 13th. This is the morning of the 14th, going up a little bit into Louisiana there. Morning of the noon of the 14th, into convection the 14th. Some moisture moving onshore here from this storm out here off of California. This thing seems to skirt the coastline and kind of stay offshore until the nighttime right there, the 14th, where it kind of hits the Florida Panhandle and then drives up into Alabama and Mississippi in the morning of the 15th. There's the noontime of the 15th. It dissipates. That's the end of convection on the 15th. It kind of gathers strength here offshore, possibly the very tip of Florida. But everything else looks okay. A little bit of snow, a little onshore rain here for California into the noontime of the 15th. This will be the end of convection. Sorry, the 16th. That's noontime the 15th. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the nighttime of the 15th. Okay, my bad. So the end of convection right here, the 15th. This is the nighttime of the 15th. This stuff's still offshore down here. Morning of the 16th. Rain and snow possible for Sierras up here in Montana. That's the noontime of the 16th. The end of convection the 16th. And the nighttime into the 17th. That's the noon convection. So just mainly rain right through this area. Snow up above the, up into Canada there. This thing wrapping up out here looks like it's about to hit the coast, but I don't think it does. It goes the nighttime of the 17th, right, skirts the coastline. The morning of the 18th gets a little bit of Maine right there at the noontime of the 18th. There's the end of convection here on the 18th here in Nova Scotia. You guys up here watch out for this storm. If this makes landfall like this on the 18th at the end of convection here, you might have a pretty serious like nor'easter type storm up there with icing in the backside of it up here. That would be the end of convection on the 18th, sundown of the 18th. Then it scoots on out of there, and that's about it. We have this high pressure building here, which draws up some of this moisture here. You see this moisture coming up through Texas, gets intense right here by the end of convection on the 20th, even intensifying at the nighttime, but offshore, dissipating into the morning hours of the 21st, and then that's about it. Another blast coming in here, possibly the end of convection on November 23rd. So there's the noon of the 23rd, a little bit here in Texas, intensifying to possible onshore or offshore waterspouts making landfall there. High winds, always rain, possible large hail with these storms always. So this, on the 23rd, starting from the end of convection, going into the nighttime, goes into Louisiana. The morning of the 24th, it's into Mississippi. By the noontime, it's into Alabama. And then by the end of convection, it's in Georgia, reaching up into Tennessee. So look at how it just goes state by state. Boom, boom, boom. Starts up here in Texas, hits Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. All right, and that's all between the 23rd and 24th. There's the nighttime of the 24th now. Then it goes offshore the morning of the 25th. Okay, and then we clear up for a while. And that's about it. Alrighty. So, I didn't even have anything set up for the spiritual report. Oops. Alright, here, let me see what we're going to do. Oh, fine. We'll do that. Alright, give me a second here as we open up something to look at. I'll read you something. Hey, kitty. You gotta come up. Yeah, you want to come up here? You want to be in the show? Come on, Bubba. You can come up. Alright, let me just open this up real quick. I got a spiritual war cat. He's like such a lover that man, Evil hates him because he's a lover. So he's my spiritual warfare partner. Alright, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We looked at that one the other day. What's a different image to read to? Yeah, Bubba? Yeah, I'm almost done. We'll go to this one again. It's not the easiest image to see, but it is one of my favorites here. Oh, spare me that. Oh, while we're at this juncture here, I noticed some of you guys were sharing, and I want to thank you for sharing. It's kind of important in more than just ways that most YouTubers, oh, share my stuff, I need more views. See, what's different about when you share my channel is not only are you blessing the person that you're sharing this with, but you are also being blessed for sharing it. It blesses me for showing it to you. So everybody gets blessed. It's a win, win, win for everybody. All right. So you see how that God works like that? You see how it's a blessing for you. It's a blessing for me. Can you see how when you share like that and you get other people over here and they possibly see this stuff and you might change their life. You might be salvaging a soul. You never know. So let me this base just a little bit better because my laptop's about to fall. All right. Hopefully we got a good shot at Jesus right there pulling his shirt open. Right now the pointer's pointing at his heart there. Yeah, Watchwoman, thank you for sharing. Hopinson, thank you for sharing. I think there's somebody else. Annabelle, I think. Anyways, just know that over here at this channel, it's different. When you share a video or share something and you get somebody over here, you're blessing them, you're being blessed, it blesses me, blesses him. It's just a win-win-win all the way around, okay? So just remember that. I don't not monetize, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the likes, but I am in it for the views. If you can understand how that works. You know, I don't go checking how many views I got every 5 minutes or whatever like that, but in this case, the views are important. Not necessarily the likes or the subscriptions or the comments or whatever, but the views are of ultimate importance, and I think you can see why. Okay, I'll be done. All right. Sorry, we had a pop-in guest. It's gone already. All right. So there's our image for the moment here, and then let me get some light on my. Uh-oh. Hang on, I'll be right back. You okay, bud? Are you alright? Alright, sorry folks, I had a emergency there. I might have to cut this early here and go tend to some injuries. Let's see here. Right here for pleas of help. I'll have to go. Alright, let's just read this real quick. Thank you for your patience here. Where it was there. Was it this one? Oh, here. There it is. Okay. I want you to know the depth and breadth of my love that surpasses knowledge. This is an erroneous difference between knowing me and knowing about me. Similarly, experiencing my loving presence is vastly different from knowing facts about my character. To experience my presence, you need the empowering work of my Spirit. Ask Him to strengthen you with power in your inner being so that you can know my love in full measure. Since the moment of your salvation, I have been alive in your heart. The more room you make for me there, the more I can fill you with my love. There are several ways to expand this space in your heart. It's crucial to take time with me, enjoying my presence and in studying my word. It is also vital to stay in communication with me. As the apostle, or no, this joyful practice will keep you close to me. Finally, let me let my love flow through you to others in both your words and your actions. This makes my love in you complete. You are my beloved child. I chose you before the foundation of the world to walk with me along paths designed uniquely for you. Concentrate on keeping in step with me instead of trying to anticipate my plans for you. If you trust that my plans are to prosper you and not to harm you, you can relax and enjoy the present moment. Your hope and your future are rooted in heaven, where eternal ecstasy awaits you. Nothing can rob you of your inheritance of unimaginable riches and well being. Sometimes I grant you glimpses of our. Sometimes I grant you glimpses of your glorious future to encourage you and spur you on. But your main focus should be staying close to me. I set the pace in keeping with your needs and my purposes. Okay? I grant you glimpses of your glorious future. Okay? So that's it for tonight. I got somebody probably pretty injured. I got to go attend to. So thank you for coming by. We got to wrap it up here, but it was just about the time to do it anyway. So I love you all. God bless you all. I hope this image brings hope and courage to you guys and peace. All right? Strength. Okay? Empowerment. All sorts of stuff goes with this image. All right? All right, but I love you. I got to go. God bless you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I'm already back.